The ocean is a powerful force. It holds many secrets, some lost forever. The Titanic has rested on the ocean floor for over a century. It is a tomb for more than 1,500 souls, and a reminder of the fragility of life. Today, a research vessel sits above the Titanic's resting place. On board are scientists and historians. They are about to descend to the wreckage using a submersible. This is no ordinary expedition. Dr. Kate Harris is the lead historian. She believes the truth has been hidden for too long. The crew prepares the submersible. They are about to see history up close. Dr. Harris addresses the crew.
The Titanic has captivated the world for generations, but what we think we know is only part of the story. Tonight we seek the hidden truth.
The submersible is ready. The crew takes their positions. They are about to journey into the past. (1911) Belfast, Ireland. The Harland and Wolff shipyard is a hive of activity. The air is thick with the sounds of construction. Thousands of men are working tirelessly. They are building a giant, the RMS Titanic. Deep within the ship, Michael Donovan walks among the towering steel ribs. He is a skilled engineer, proud of his work. But today, fear gnaws at him. He had overheard whispers of shortcuts and substandard materials. The steel was brittle, susceptible to fracture at low temperatures. If the Titanic struck an iceberg, the hull could shatter. He had voiced his concerns to his superiors, but they were dismissed as unfounded. Donovan was told to focus on his work. Section 2, The Weight of Secrets.
I couldn't ignore my conscience. I knew the truth had to be told. I started a notebook documenting every flaw and shortcut.
One evening, Donovan huddled with trusted colleagues. The shipyard was shrouded in darkness.
They're cutting corners. The steel is flawed.
We all know it, but what can we do?
We can't stay silent. If this ship sails with these flaws, people will die.
Section 3, A Seed of Truth. Donovan's words hung in the air. Fear and uncertainty filled the men's eyes.
I've been documenting everything. This needs to get out.
The men exchanged uneasy glances. One of the men, a steward named John Bell, stepped forward.
Give it to me. I'll find a way to get it off this ship.
April 10th, 1912, Southampton, England. The air crackled with excitement. The RMS Titanic towered over the bustling port. Crowds thronged the docks, eager to witness the departure of the largest ship ever built. Flags waved, bands played, and a cacophony of well-wishes filled the air. Among the throngs of passengers, a sense of anticipation hung heavy. First-class passengers strolled the decks. In the lower decks, steerage passengers huddled together. The Titanic represented more than just a ship. She was a symbol of human ingenuity. Deep within the ship's luxurious first-class lounge, a sense of unease lingered. Sir Reginald Ashcroft, a prominent industrial tycoon, sat sipping brandy.
Magnificent, isn't she? A testament to human progress.
Indeed, though I'd be remiss not to mention the rumors about the ship's safety.
Ashcroft's smile faltered before he regained his composure.
Nonsense, my dear fellow. Idle gossip spread by envious rivals. The Titanic is unsinkable.
Yet there have been reports of substandard materials.
Ashcroft's eyes hardened.
Those concerns are unfounded.
He raised his glass.
To the Titanic. May her maiden voyage be a resounding success.
Fletcher, a sense of foreboding creeping up his spine, reluctantly echoed the toast. The two men drank deeply. The Titanic steamed towards the open sea. As the Titanic slipped beneath the horizon, Michael Donovan stood at the railing. He had entrusted John Bell with his notebook.
The risks are great, but silence is a greater burden.
Donovan knew the risks. He understood the potential consequences, but he couldn't bear the thought of remaining silent. The vastness of the Atlantic stretched before him. He had done what he could. Now, all he could do was pray. Days later, the Titanic sailed into icy waters. The North Atlantic in April was known for its treacherous icebergs. The crew was on high alert. Lookouts scanned the horizon. In the crow's nest, Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee strained their eyes. The vast expanse of the ocean stretched before them. Inside the ship, passengers dined in luxury. They danced, gambled, and enjoyed the opulence. The Titanic, they believed, was unsinkable. They were unaware of the danger lurking beneath the surface. At 11:40 p.m., a lookout spotted it, a massive iceberg directly in the Titanic's path. The alarm bell rang out. The ship's engines roared as the officers struggled to avert disaster, but it was too late. The Titanic grazed the iceberg along her starboard side. Below the waterline, the iceberg's jagged teeth ripped through the ship's hull. Seawater rushed in, flooding the forward compartments.
I raced towards my station in the bowels of the ship. I could hear the roar of water flooding the compartments. I knew time was running out. The ship was sinking.
In the engine room, the stokers and engineers fought a desperate battle. They worked feverishly, trying to maintain pressure in the boilers. But the situation was hopeless. The Titanic was doomed. On the upper decks, chaos reigned as passengers and crew scrambled for lifeboats. Donovan, his heart pounding, pushed through the throngs of people. He had to get to John Bell. The notebook was their only hope. He finally found Bell near the lifeboats.
John!
Donovan shouted, his voice barely audible above the din. He thrust the notebook into Bell's hands.
Get this to the authorities. Tell them the truth.
Bell, his face pale with fear, nodded grimly. Donovan turned and pushed back towards the heart of the sinking ship. John Bell clutched the notebook tightly to his chest. The deck was awash in chaos. Women and children were being herded into lifeboats. The band played on, their music a mournful counterpoint to the screams. Bell could feel the Titanic tilting beneath his feet. He had made a promise to Donovan, a promise to deliver the truth. He pushed through the panicking crowd. He had to survive. He had to deliver the truth. The icy grip of the Atlantic closed in around Bell as he was swept from the deck. He gasped for air, the precious notebook still clutched in his hand. He struggled to stay afloat amidst the churning water and debris. The Titanic disappeared beneath the waves. Bell clung to a piece of driftwood, his body numb from the cold. Hypothermia threatened to claim him. He closed his eyes, picturing Donovan's face. Get this to the authorities, tell them the truth. He had to keep fighting. He had to survive. The Carpathia, responding to the Titanic's distress calls, arrived on the scene. The crew worked tirelessly, pulling survivors from lifeboats.
John Bell, barely clinging to life, was among the rescued. He was wrapped in blankets, his frozen fingers pried open to reveal the waterlogged notebook.
As he regained his strength, he shared his story. He spoke of Donovan and his warnings, of the flawed steel and the cover-up. He handed over the notebook, a tangible piece of the Titanic's tragic truth.
The world listened in stunned silence as Bell's testimony made headlines.
The submersible cuts through the dark water. Inside, Dr. Harris and the crew stare intently at the monitors. The Titanic's ghostly image slowly comes into view, a jumble of metal frozen in time.
There, Dr. Harris says, her voice tight with anticipation. The officers' quarters. According to Bell's testimony, that's where Donovan said he last saw him.
The submersible maneuvers closer. They are looking for any trace of John Bell's belongings. They are searching for the missing pieces of a puzzle. The submersible's robotic arm, guided by skilled technicians, carefully sifts through the debris. Years of ocean currents and decay have taken their toll, but the Titanic holds its secrets close. Time seems to stand still inside the submersible.
Then a flicker of movement on the monitor. A small metal box, half buried in the sediment. It is corroded, barely recognizable. "Bring it in," Dr. Harris whispers, her eyes glued to the screen.
The robotic arm gently lifts the box. The air is thick with anticipation. The box is carefully opened. Inside, a waterlogged leather pouch, and within the pouch a small, leather-bound notebook. Its pages are brittle, the ink faded, but it is still legible. Dr. Harris carefully lifts the notebook. Her hands tremble with a mixture of awe and trepidation. This is it, Michael Donovan's notebook, the evidence the world thought lost forever. The submersible begins its ascent. As they rise slowly to the surface, a profound silence fills the vessel. They carry with them more than just artifacts. They carry the weight of truth. A truth that has been silent for over a century. A truth that will change everything. The research vessel cuts through the waves, heading back to shore. On board, the atmosphere is electric. The discovery of Michael Donovan's notebook has sent shockwaves through the team. They hold in their hands a piece of history that rewrites everything they thought they knew. News of the discovery spreads like wildfire. The world is transfixed. The Titanic, a story that has captivated generations, takes on a new and tragic dimension. Headlines scream of a cover-up, of negligence, of a terrible injustice. The notebook becomes a beacon of truth, illuminating the dark underbelly of a maritime disaster long dismissed as an unavoidable tragedy. Dr. Harris finds herself thrust into the spotlight. Interviews, press conferences, documentaries. The world demands answers. She shares Donovan's story, carefully laying out the evidence, her voice unwavering as she unravels a century-old conspiracy. The revelations spark outrage and a demand for accountability. Descendants of those lost on the Titanic, their voices filled with a mixture of grief and anger, demand justice for their loved ones. The legacy of the Titanic, once a tale of human ambition and technological marvel, is forever tarnished by the stain of human greed and deceit. The notebook becomes a catalyst for change. Maritime safety regulations are scrutinized, revised, and strengthened. The industry, once shrouded in secrecy and driven by profit, is forced to confront its past and embrace a future where safety takes precedence over speed and luxury. But the impact of the discovery extends far beyond the realm of maritime law. It serves as a stark reminder that truth, no matter how deeply buried, has a way of surfacing. It reminds us that the pursuit of justice, though often long and arduous, is a fight worth fighting. Back on the research vessel, Dr. Harris stands at the railing, gazing out at the vast expanse of the ocean. The sun sinks towards the horizon, casting long shadows across the water. The sea is calm now, its surface a mirror reflecting the fiery hues of the sky. It is a scene of serene beauty, a stark contrast to the chaos and terror that unfolded on that fateful night over a century ago. The Titanic may lie in pieces on the ocean floor, but its story continues to resonate. It is a story of human ambition and its limits, of courage and sacrifice, of loss and remembrance, and thanks to Michael Donovan's bravery, it is also a story of truth prevailing, even from beyond the grave. The ocean keeps its secrets close, but sometimes it offers up a glimpse into the past, a chance to learn from our mistakes and honor those who were lost. As the last rays of sunlight fade, Dr. Harris turns away from the railing, her heart heavy with the weight of history, but her spirit buoyed by the knowledge that the truth once lost has finally been found.